is unpredictable, and despite him not having the size, it's the shots that you don't see that hurt the most.
This lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to his legacy.
Canelo Alvarez, and that's just being honest. And I think what he has done in his career, he's proven everything.
Terence Crawford gave a brutal warning to Canelo Alvarez after their fight agreement, making it clear that he is coming to shake up the boxing world. "I'm a threat to him and his reputation," Crawford claimed confidently. He stated that he is already a dominant force in multiple weight classes. Crawford believes his speed, technique, and ring IQ will expose Canelo.
Why he don't want to take a fight with me? If it's all about business, then you doing good business. If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, well, you know, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want 200 million for Benavidez, and he want 150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to his legacy, because it would be crazy for a guy that started at 135 to come all the way up to 168, your weight, no catch weight, no none of that, and dethrone you. So, you know, he got that in the back of his head. You know, this guy, for one, he's tough. For two, he's a boxer. He moves, he can punch, he can do it all. I can't slip up and lose to this little guy. Then what will my fans think of me? What will my Mexican
With the fight now set, it promises an interesting clash of styles. Canelo Alvarez relies on powerful, repetitive combinations and elite counterpunching, making him a dangerous opponent. Terence Crawford, known for his unpredictability and sharp timing, could find openings if he manages to time Canelo well. However, Crawford must prove he has the power to earn Canelo's respect, otherwise, the fight could become difficult for him. Analysts believe Canelo's strength and experience at higher weight classes give him an edge, but Crawford's technical brilliance and adaptability could help him outscore his opponent in this stylistic matchup. This fight is shaping up to be a must-watch event.
He likes to go to the same combinations, you know, quite repetitively, whereas Crawford is unpredictable, and despite him not having the size, it's the shots that you don't see that hurt the most, and maybe Crawford can hit him with some unexpected shit. And because of the repetitiveness of Canelo, maybe he can time him, maybe he can counter punch with him, because Crawford is unbelievable at that. But I'm fascinated to see if Crawford has the power to get the respect of Canelo Alvarez, because when you don't, it's a long night. It's not nice. Like Crawford did well against Madrimov, and he won that fight for me quite clearly, but Madrimov was countering him. You know, if you can counter the counter puncher, you can give them a lot of problems when they're not used to that, and Canelo can counter people really well. And as great as Terence Crawford is, we've never seen him in there with someone with the power of Canelo Alvarez. This is a different world of power. And look, maybe Canelo doesn't throw as many shots as he used to, and maybe Crawford might look at that and go, you know what, I'm going to try and outpoint this guy, not get into a war with him, but just show my boxing, you know, genius and outpoint him and outland him. That's possible. It is. This is why this is such a fascinating matchup, man. You know, we've been treated to some amazing fights. Usyk Fury, for example, this is another one of those mega fights on.
It is acknowledged that Canelo Alvarez has already proven himself in the boxing world and doesn't need to justify a fight with Jake Paul. The focus now is on the financial side. Canelo is seen more as a businessman at this stage of his career, taking the potential fight because of the massive payday involved, possibly $100 million or more, rather than for legacy or competitive reasons.
Being honest. And I think what he has done in his career, he's proven everything, right? His resume is unbelievable. And if you want to make 100 million to fight Jake Paul, right? Like the thing is about Canelo, he don't tell any lies. He's very transparent, right? He's not going to try and justify this fight to you that, no, what I'm doing is I'm doing it to bring boxing to a wider audience. No, he's doing it for a sackload of money. So whenever you put them forward to Canelo Alvarez, his question is, how much? And if he's a businessman at this stage in his career, right? And at the end of the day, someone is offering whatever it will be, 80 million, 100 million, 120, to fight Jake Paul. A fight in which there is absolutely no risk. And by the way, you can't criticise Jake Paul, because the criticism for Jake Paul has always been, when are you going to fight someone decent? Well, guess what? You might be fighting Canelo Alvarez. I don't hate it. I'll be watching.
He intend to give up the belts though? That's the fight to take.
Yeah, maybe. It might be his last fight.
Critics have long pointed out that Jake Paul hasn't faced top-level opponent now, with talks of a possible fight against Canelo Alvarez. Things may change, however. Even Jake himself admits he has little chance, calling Canelo a dangerous fighter. Most believe Jake would lose badly, but despite the likely outcome, he would still walk away with a huge payday.
Canelo's a totally different beast to, a definitely out of his prime Mike Tyson. Just talk about how much respect you would have for Jake for taking that fight.
Only respect because of the money. I mean, he's not doing it for free. He's not doing it because he wants to prove himself as a great fighter. He's doing it for 100 mil as well, or whatever he's getting.
It's a very, very scary match.
It's dangerous, and he's going to get spanked.
How many rounds?
However many Canelo wants it to be. I mean, the only thing is, Jake's going to be a lot heavier and bigger. But listen, no disrespect to Jake's ability as a fighter. He's fighting Canelo Alvarez, who is one of the top fighters in the world. So, he's going to get spanked, but he's going to make a lot of money whilst receiving the spank.
Just a day ago, renowned boxing promoter Eddie Hearn revealed that a fight between Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez was under serious discussion. Hearn emphasized that Canelo is always ready to fight if the right financial offer is made. Give Canelo the money, and he'll fight anyone, whether it's Turkey Elik or anyone else. Hearn said, this clearly shows that Canelo was open to facing Jake Paul, provided the business side made sense. Money has always been a major driving factor in boxing, unlike many top fighters, Canelo is willing to take on any opponent if the payday is big enough.
Nothing really. I mean, it was all very sudden, wasn't it? Is it in relation to the Jake Paul fight? I don't know. I mean, look, Canelo, I say all that. Canelo don't care, right? Give him the money, and he's going to fight. He doesn't really have, and this isn't a negative towards him, because he makes it clear he has no loyalty to anyone. Right? None to me, none to PBC, none to Turkey Al-Sheikh. Pay me the money, I will fight whoever you want me to fight. That's basically it. So, I guess the talk was a Crawford fight. Now it looks like the Jake Paul fight is done, by all accounts. So, does that make the Crawford fight less appealing? Because he's kind of moving into that world now. And I don't blame him, because he's going to make an absolute fortune to punch Jake Paul. And I don't mind the fight, I've got to be honest with you. I've given Jake stick over the years because he's done some things that I didn't like, and I'm just being honest. But you have to respect him for taking the Canelo fight. He's doing that because there's a huge amount of money on the table, but I don't mind seeing it. So yeah, I don't know I've no idea whether it's in relation to that or whatever. I've not had one conversation about it, but certainly, Canelo moving into that world, if you like, changes things.
Initially, Canelo Alvarez was considering a fight against Jake Paul in May, alongside discussions for a possible matchup with Terence Crawford. However, Turkey Elik, the chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, was reportedly displeased with the idea of Canelo facing Jake Paul. As a result, the Canelo vs Jake Paul fight was cancelled. Canelo is now set to face Terence Crawford in September.
We decided to pull the plug on the Canelo-Terence Crawford fight September 13th at Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas Raiders Stadium in Las Vegas, due to the fact that Canelo Alvarez was trying to do a side deal outside of his 3-fight deal with Turkey Al-Sheikh in Riyadh season to fight YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul May 3rd. Turkey Al-Sheikh wasn't happy with it. And so with that said, instead of getting the 2 Hall of Fame iconic fighters, first ballot Hall of Famers, in Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez in September, Turkey Al-Sheikh decided, I'll find a new super fight for Terence Crawford and we'll take the deal off the table for Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez then decides, nope, he and his team pick up the phone, they have a conversation with Turkey Al-Sheikh, and Turkey Al-Sheikh and Canelo come to a 4-fight deal that's going to cancel the Jake Paul fight May 3rd, Las Vegas at the T-Mobile, and is now going to see Canelo Alvarez possibly face William Skull, the IBF undefeated Puerto Rican champion, at 168, May in Riyadh.
Boxing trainer Greg Hackett weighed in on the rumored matchup between Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez. He clarified that the proposed fight wasn't just a rumor, stating that Canelo cannot fight Crawford at this time. Hackett's comments shed light on the complexities and negotiations that often take place behind high-profile boxing matches.
So news got leaked that Canelo Alvarez and Jake Paul in May.
What?
So you got people that think it's a rumor. I can confirm that it's not a rumor. This is something that we've known for a long, I'm gonna say we've known for about 3 to 4 weeks.
That's not gonna be a real fight though. Well, so that means Bud ain't happening.
No. They talking about Bud in September. Canelo, Jake Paul in that.
If he fight Jake Paul, he ain't gonna fight Bud. Cause I'm gonna tell you why. He gotta go up for Jake Paul. He gotta go up for Jake Paul. Jake Paul not coming under 200 pounds. You understand? Canelo gonna do the same thing Roy did to his body. He gonna go up and bring it back down, 68, fuck no. He gonna do the same thing Roy did.
Jake Paul took to Twitter to express his frustration over Canelo Alvarez's decision to back out of their highly anticipated fight. He tweeted, "Breaking news, Canelo Alvarez ducked me." Jake Paul is now his own boss with no regard for the pride of the Mexican people who back him on US soil. It's not surprising. His whole career he's done nothing for the sport of boxing outside the gym. "I'm the new face of fighting. You can't have the biggest fight of 2025 without my name involved. When all your events tank and lose money, you'll understand who the true king of the sport is." 28 years old. The biggest fight in boxing history. My own boss, haven't been owned for 5 years. All of you felines want to see me fail, but God has other plans. It's the year of the goose, the era of the elephant, and the era of MVP. Following the cancellation of the fight with Jake Paul, Canelo Alvarez signed a 4-fight deal with Turki Alalshik. This agreement marks a significant shift in Canelo's career, aligning him with new promotional partners and opening doors for future high-profile matchups.
Let's do this. Canelo versus Crawford confirmed. Not a rumor, not speculation, not he said, she said, or someone leaking the story. Confirmed. And I guess the confirmation doesn't get much more rock solid than the Ring magazine putting this story out first. Ring magazine obviously owned by Turki. Turki would have been the one to put this deal together, and Turki would have had to given the green light for the Ring magazine to even put that story out. That's as confirmation as you need it. That's it. The fight will happen in September. Touch wood, no injuries. Wow. Easily the biggest fight of 2025. I said a few days ago, Benavidez Morale was my most intriguing fight of 2025. Obviously that's now been put down to second place because this has been announced. Nothing can be announced.
This agreement marks a major shift in Canelo Alvarez's career trajectory, aligning him with new promotional partners and opening avenues for high-profile matchups.
Like to go up against Canelo Alvarez. What gives you the right to call out a 59-2 boxer, one of the greatest of all time, when you've not yet proven yourself?
I'm predicting what's going to happen 3 more years from now.
So I'm
going to get to his skill level and beat him. I have one of the greatest self-belief systems in the world, and I know what I'm capable of, and with this new team, I can give Canelo a serious run for his money.
Would you ever do like exhibitions like that, or like people like Jake Paul call you out, or these like other big stars? Like, is that business-wise like even worth it?
When I'm done with boxing, why not? Maybe I do it. I think it's
like when you're done like competing at the highest level, you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's good because what happened there is other people who never watch boxing, or they don't know anything about boxing, they wanna watch Jake Paul because he's coming from he bring fans from other world, right? That's good because everybody enjoy it.
Would you ever entertain that idea when you're done?
Maybe.
I'll do it. I think it's like, when you're done competing at the highest level, you're like, yeah, I think it's good. A source close to Canelo said, what happens is that people who have never watched boxing or don't know anything about it still want to watch Jake Paul. He brings in fans from a completely different world, and that's good, because everyone can enjoy it. When asked whether Canelo would consider such a fight after his prime years, the response was maybe. As this discussion unfolded, new talks surrounding Canelo Alvarez's next opponent have sparked significant speculation. Although Jake Paul's involvement initially grabbed attention, reports suggest that the fight between him and Canelo is now cancelled. Promoter Eddie Hearn has not ruled out a Canelo versus Crawford bout. However, Jake Paul's persistent promotion and rising hype suggest his fight with Canelo may still happen. If confirmed, Paul claims the matchup will be a historic event, potentially even bigger than Mike Tyson's biggest bouts.
Why he wants to take on Saul Canelo Alvarez.
I just want the opportunity, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just like to, fight another great.
Which is a very noble reason. I mean, it's a reason that I can get behind. If you notice, his primary reason isn't money. He did say it'd be the biggest fight, which, you do want a big fight, but I don't think he meant monetarily, which the money comes, okay? But what he's saying is he want to test himself versus the best. And I think he's telling the truth here, right? Of course you want big money and stuff like that, but I think his swan song is just him test himself up against the very best. Those are the reasons the war room can get behind.
Are you tired of people asking you about Terence yet?
No, look, I always say, I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very talented fighter, but he just win one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter like Errol Spence is. But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with the Spence. He did almost look very easy. But I knew Terence Crawford is a great fighter. But you never know in boxing.
Turki Alalshik posted a video message discussing Canelo Alvarez's fight agreement during the Riyadh season, which was shared on YouTube.
In the fight, being the one that stops the momentum, because it's not happening. There is no world.
Okay, then let me ask you this:
May I be struck by lightning right now if this is possible?
Does
a lightning bet?
If this happens,
right.
There's just no way. There is no way.
Wait. If what happens? If the fight happens, or if the upset of the century happens?
If Jake Paul derails Terence Crawford versus Canelo by beating Canelo,
then you book Jake Paul versus Terence Crawford.
Zero.
Okay, let me ask you this: if that fight ends up being close,
yes,
a lot of people are going to watch that fight, right?
A lot, because I think a lot of people are going to want to see Jake Paul lose, and
100%. Canelo's going to do this. Canelo would do this, and we're just talking.
Let's backtrack to your first question, which is interest. I'm very interested because, as I've long said, I'm on this corner. I only care about Jake Paul in spectacles. It would be an absolute spectacle to see a pound for pound. First, he did Mike Tyson, which, and I'm not going all the way back, but I'm saying in his most recent outing, Mike Tyson, an all-time legend, a pop culture icon, versus Jake Paul is a spectacle. Now you're going the opposite direction to nearly in his prime. We'll say maybe like he's on the back nine, but he's still close to his prime. He's still a top 5 pound for pound on pretty much anybody's list fighter. Going against Jake Paul, I'm in for the spectacle. I'm in. I don't think Jake Paul has a chance in hell, but I'm in for the spectacle.
And how long has he been beating the drum on this? He's been saying he's going to do this forever.
Let's see what happens.
So credit to him if it happens.
He urged fans not to overlook this development, highlighting the positive impact these high-profile events are having on the sport of boxing. Alalshik's presence adds a new dimension to boxing promotions, especially in the Middle East.
Great, that'll be 3 times. If you go 154 and win the belt, that's 3 times super. Then I said, chase super greatness. Come on, Canelo, 160.
Well, if he can get in there with Charlo in like his next 2 fights where he's still got age on his side, then maybe go up again. Like if he's trying to chase the greatness. But I mean, he already done something that's never been done. Charlo don't want none of that smoke.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and you never know what happened.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. He stated that if Canelo successfully executes his game plan, he will likely emerge victorious. However, if Canelo falters, Crawford could capitalize and claim the win. Jones's analysis highlights the high stakes and the evenly matched nature of this highly anticipated bout.
A lot of people are saying like, hey, forget about Canelo. That was a tough fight with Madrimov. Go ahead and give Boots a shot. Give Boots the chance. But Eddie's saying, hey, I think Crawford's saying, hey, give me the Canelo fight or I'm not fighting. I'm done.
Why? What does he got to prove to Boot? Boot trying to take over and start beating the guys around him, prove that he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy. Why would he? Bud looking to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He willing to take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
And that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if he gets the win. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, cause a lot of people are saying, hey, forget about Canelo. That was a tough fight with Majima. Go ahead and give Boots a shot. Give Boots his chance, but Eddie is saying, and I think Crawford is saying, give me the Canelo fight, or I'm done. I'm not fighting. Why? Because what does he have to prove? Boots' time is coming. He should start taking over and beating the top guys around him. Crawford is already above that group. He doesn't need to come back down to 147 to meet Boots. That's crazy. Why would he? Crawford's looking to make history, secure a massive payday, and then step away. His big bank is Canelo. He's willing to take that gamble to see if he can beat Canelo. If he does, maybe he goes on to something even bigger. If not, he can say, I tried, and now I'm done. But man, if he wins, that would be crazy. Like, oh my God, that would be it. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. Stay tuned, and catch you next time.